Dear students, in today's class, some important neat bits from organic chemistry will be discussed. Explanation will be given for these selected neat bits. So this is more useful for plus 2 level students and those who are going to the ensuing NEET examination. Please go through this and get an idea and grip over the organic chemistry bits. Some selective bits will be taken here. First, the number of sigma and pi bonds in pent 2ene4-ine. Pent 2ene4-ine is, you have to select the answer within no time. How to select it? When you are saying that ene as well as ine, ene represents a double bond, ine represents a triple bond. Is it not? So here one pi bond is present, here two pi bonds are present. So in this case, our number of pi bonds is equal to number of pi bonds is equal to 3. Just you can select the answer now. No pi bond, 5 pi bonds, 2 pi bonds, 3 pi bonds. And so, as C bit contains 3 pi bonds, mostly it is the correct answer. In that way you can select the bit. And in this case, one more you have to grasp. Number of sigma bonds in aliphatic hydrocarbon open chain. In aliphatic open chain hydrocarbon is equal to number of atoms minus 1. Number of atoms minus 1. This is the sigma bonds calculation. And here as pent is given, it is C5H12. This is pentane. As there are 3 pi bonds, each pi bond, for the development of each pi bond, you have to remove 2 hydrogens. There are 3 pi bonds means you have to deduct 6 hydrogens. And thereby it becomes C5H6. This is the formula for this compound. Pent 2ene4-ine is carrying the molecular formula as C5H6. And therefore, from this formula, number of sigma bonds is equal to number of atoms. How many are there? Number of atoms is equal to 11. 11 minus 1 is equal to 10 sigma bonds. So totally in this structure, if you develop it, 3 pi bonds are there, that is analysis. The second one, number of sigma bonds in the aliphatic hydrocarbon open chain, number of atoms minus 1. And so, if you calculate the molecular formula at a glance, 3 pi bonds, 3 into 2, 6 hydrogens you have removed from the alkyl formula, and so you will get here the molecular formula for this compound. Number of atoms is equal to 11 minus 1, that is equal to 10 sigma bonds. So in this way, we can get the answer as C is the correct answer for this. Okay? Next bit. Next bit, the most suitable method of separation of 1:1 mixture of ortho and para nitrophenols is chromatography, distillation, crystallization, sublimation. And here, what is ortho nitrophenol structure? Just you can write like this. This is phenol and this is nitro group. This is ortho nitrophenol. And the other one is para nitrophenol. This is OH group and this is nitro group in the para position. This is para-nitrophenol. Whenever OH group is present in the organic compound, first of all you have to think about the hydrogen bonding. And that OH bond must be nearer to the other group having oxygen or fluorine like that. In this case, as OH group is very much nearer to the nitro group, if you take the H here partially positive, O here partially negative, these two groups are very much nearer, as a result of which bonding will be developed. This is what you call hydrogen bonding. This hydrogen bonding is present within the molecule, and that is why this is called intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intramolecular hydrogen bonding. In the case of para-nitrophenol or even meta-nitrophenol, the OH and NO2 groups are far away from other, and so hydrogen bond cannot be extended over such a long distance. So here hydrogen bond is not formed within the molecule. On the other hand, if you take the hydrogen bonding here, you have to take the approach of the other molecule like this. This is once again para-nitrophenol. And here you can consider the approach of the molecules nearer to each other. This H carries delta plus, O carries delta minus, and these two will be attracted by hydrogen bonding. This hydrogen bonding is existing in between the molecules, not within the molecule. And that is why this is called intermolecular hydrogen bonding. This is what you call intermolecular hydrogen bonding, through which molecules are combining to give large molecule, and that is why it will be converted into associated liquid. An associated molecule, and thereby from this it will be converted into associated liquids. When there is association through hydrogen bonding, unexpectedly the boiling point will be elevated. And so this will be having high boiling points. This will be having high boiling point. And in this case, the molecule acts as a discrete unit, and there is no hydrogen bonding between the molecules. So here, as the molecule is discrete, it can be easily vaporized. That means BP here is equal to low. Taking the advantage of difference between the boiling points, one can separate the liquids easily by using process which is known as distillation. Distillation is the general method used to separate the liquids having difference in the boiling point. It may be direct distillation, it may be steam distillation, it may be fractional distillation. When the difference between the boiling points is very narrow, you have to use the fractional distillation. On the other hand, you can use a distillation or you can use a steam distillation, thereby one can be separated easily from the other. And so in this case, distillation is the main process for separating these two, and that is present here. Chromatography is a technique which is used to separate the small amount present in the mixture, and that is an entirely different technique. To get the pure substance from the mixture. Though it is present in small amount, it can be separated. Crystallization, when the solids are having different melting points, they can be crystallized easily at different melting point stages. Sublimation, when one of these two substances is having sublimation property, that means when the solid is heated, it is directly going to the vapor stage. And that is called sublimation. When one of the two is having sublimation property, then they can be separated one from the other. So in this way, you can take the advantage of distillation for the separation of these two. So what is the correct answer here? Steam distillation is the correct answer. Distillation, simply you can use distillation. Distillation is the correct procedure for the separation of these two. Okay? Let us go to the next bit. Next bit, which of the following is the most stable carbocation? Methyl carbonyl, ethyl carbonyl, isopropyl carbonyl, tertiary butyl carbonyl. 4 carbonyls were given. Stability of carbonyls can be explained by inductive effect as well as hyperconjugation. So, stability of carbonyl can be explained by A. Inductive effect. according to which the greater the number of alkyl groups attached to carbonyl ion, the greater the stability. According to which the greater the number of alkyl groups attached to C plus ion, the greater is the stability. This carbonyl ion doesn't carry any alkyl group. This carbonyl ion carries one alkyl group. This carbonyl ion carries two alkyl groups, and this carbonyl ion carries three alkyl groups. And so basing on this concept, you can easily give the idea which is the more stable. This is the carbonyl ion which is attached to one carbon, primary carbonyl ion. This is the carbonyl ion attached to two carbonyl ions, secondary carbonyl ion. And this is the carbonyl ion attached to three carbons. This is the tertiary carbonyl ion. And this is the carbonyl ion attached to no carbon, and this is called super primary carbon. Super primary carbon. And basing on this, here you can easily give the idea about the stability of the carbocation. Always, in the case of alkyl groups, primary carbonyl ion is less stable than secondary carbonyl ion, less stable than tertiary carbonyl ion. And so here, tertiary carbonyl ion is the most stable because it is having three alkyl groups. And so which is the answer here? DBT is the answer. This is one way. On the other hand, you can give the answer basing on hyperconjugation. Carbonyl ion stability can also be explained by other one, hyperconjugation. It is better to apply hyperconjugation whenever the complication arises. By B, hyperconjugation. Whenever hyperconjugation and inductive both are enrolled, first priority must be given to hyperconjugation. Better explanation is given by hyperconjugation. If there is no hyperconjugation, then automatically you have to apply only inductive effects. And so in this, we can apply hyperconjugation. What is it? You have to take sp2 carbon. This is the carbonyl ion, which is sp2 carbon. This is sp2 carbon. sp2 carbon carrying sp3 carbon, carrying at least one hydrogen. Then automatically, the sigma bond that is present here, this is the sigma bond that is present here, will participate in delocalization. And that will be delocalizing over 3 or 4 atoms like this. And this bond will be shifted like this. Then what happens here? C, double bond C, here H. As electron cloud shifting, minus or plus charge is cancelled, and that plus will be obtained on H plus H. This is the resonance form. This is what you call resonance form through hyperconjugation. So that is why we will call it as hyperconjugated resonance form. In this, actual sigma bond present here is shown to be non-existent, and so sometimes this is also called no bond resonance. No bond resonance. So as the resonance form is written here, resonance form always gives the stability. The greater the number of resonance forms, the greater the stability. And here this is the carbonyl ion to which the carbon is attached, this is the alpha carbon. Hydrogen carried by alpha carbon is called alpha hydrogen. Hydrogen carried by alpha carbon is called alpha hydrogen. The greater the number of alpha hydrogens, the greater the number of resonance forms, and the greater the stability. This is the logic here. Here you can write it as the greater the number of alpha hydrogens, the greater is the number of resonance forms, and the greater is the stability of carbonium ion. This is the explanation. And in this case, just you can analyze. This is the carbonium ion, there is no alpha carbon here. This is the carbonium ion carrying one alpha carbon here. This is the alpha carbon. This is the alpha carbon. This alpha carbon is having 3 hydrogens, and so here you will get 3 resonance forms. You will get here 3 resonance forms. And here stabilized by none, no resonance form, 0. And in this case, this is the carbonium ion. This is the alpha carbon, this is also alpha carbon. This alpha carbon is carrying 3 hydrogens. This alpha carbon is also carrying 3 hydrogens. Totally there are 6 hydrogens, so you can write here 6 resonance forms. And in the last one, this is the carbonium ion carrying 3 alpha carbons here. Each alpha carbon is carrying 3 hydrogens each. As a result of which there are totally 3 into 3, 9 resonance forms. So here, this is stabilized by none. Ethyl carbonium is stabilized by 3 resonance forms through hyperconjugation. Isopropyl carbonium ion is stabilized by 6 resonance forms through hyperconjugation. And this is tertiary butyl carbonium ion stabilized by 9 hyperconjugated resonance forms. Already we studied the greater the number of alpha hydrogens, the greater the number of resonance forms, the greater the stability. And so, basing on this also, you can easily guess that always out of all these, tertiary carbonium ion is the most stable. And so, correct bit here is D bit. Same idea was also given by inductive effect and also hyperconjugation. Whenever you get the carbonium ions, it is better to analyze through hyperconjugation. Through number of alpha, if you count the number of alpha hydrogens which is having the greater number of alpha hydrogens, that will be the most stable carbocation. That is easy way, that is the trick. Okay, next bit. Next one, 4th bit. The most stable carbocation among the following is A. This one CH3 thrice C, CH3 plus. As the carbonium ion is carrying 1 hydrogen, it is secondary carbonium ion because it is attached to 2 carbons. And this is the secondary carbonium ion once again, secondary pentyl carbonium ion. And this is CH3CH plus CH2 CH2 CH3. This is also carrying 5 carbons, CH3 CH2 CH plus CH2 CH3. This is also pentyl carbonium ion. Secondary because CH plus carrying 2 carbons on either side. And this is normal propyl carbocation. CH2 is attached to only 1 carbon, this is primary. ABC are secondary carbonium ions, D is primary carbonium ion. Primary carbonium ion is always less stable than any secondary carbonium ion, and so this is the least stable. But he is asking more stable carbocation here. Apply the hyperconjugation concept here. Apply the hyperconjugation, the one which is having greater number of alpha hydrogens. Greater number of alpha hydrogens. The greater is the stability. Stability will be greater. Greater number of alpha hydrogens, the stability will be greater. And here, if you take this one, CH plus, this is CH3, this is the alpha carbon, CH3. This is the analysis. And if you take here, this is the alpha carbon, this is the alpha carbon. This alpha carbon doesn't carry any hydrogen. So from this side there is no hyperconjugation. This alpha carbon is carrying 3 hydrogens. And so this will be stabilized by 3 hyperconjugate resonance forms A. If you take the second one, CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3 plus. And here, this is the alpha carbon and this is the alpha carbon. This is beta carbon, this is gamma carbon. They are not directly attached to the carbon. And so these hydrogens will not be counted in hyperconjugation. They will exert only inductive effect. And so here in this case, this alpha carbon is carrying 3 hydrogens. These 3 hydrogens participate in hyperconjugation. And there are 2 alpha hydrogens here. And so 2 hydrogens participate in hyperconjugation. Total is equal to 5. So in this case, there are 5 hyperconjugate resonance forms. And this is the bit B. And if you take C, CH3, CH2, CH plus CH2, CH3. This is the carbocation once again. This is the alpha carbon. This is the alpha carbon. These two are beta carbons. Those hydrogens will not participate. This is having 2 hydrogens. This is having 2 hydrogens. Totally, this will be equal to 4. Totally, this is equal to 4. So in this way, in the C bit, hyperconjugate resonance forms is equal to 4. So here 3, here 5, here 4, and of course this will be having only 2 hydrogens and 2 hyperconjugate resonance forms, in that case primary carbonyl ion. So the greater the number of hyperconjugate resonance forms, the greater the stability. And out of all this is having 5 hyperconjugate resonance forms. As a result of which, what is the answer here? B is the correct bit. B is the correct answer. The most stable carbocation among these is, this is one which is a greater number of alpha hydrogens. 3 plus 2, 5. Okay. Next bit. Next fifth one. Arrange the following in the increasing order of stability. Increasing order of stability. That means first you have to write the least stability, and gradually the increasing of carbocation should be taking place. And here there are 5 bits given, and you have to write the increasing order of the 5 carbonyl ions. First you have to write the least stable. Stability of carbonyl ion depends upon the number of alpha hydrogens carried by carbonyl ion. And so here in this case, first case let us take, this is the carbonyl ion. This is having, you can analyze CH3, CH3 like this, you can write CH2, CH3. This is the first one, A bit. And so here, if you consider alpha hydrogens, this is the alpha carbon, this is the alpha carbon, this is the alpha carbon. Totally 3 plus 3 plus 2, there are 8. This is having 8 hyperconjugated resonance forms. Similarly, you can take here this one, CH3 thrice C plus. You can consider bit 2, this is bit 1, bit 2, CH3 thrice C plus. And this is the tertiary carbonyl ion. Among alkyl carbon, this is the most stable. And so here this is alpha, this is alpha, this is alpha. Every alpha carbon is carrying 3 hydrogens each. So totally there are 9 hyperconjugate resonance forms. This is 9. And similarly you can take here 3, CH3 twice CH. This CH3 carries 3 hydrogens each. Such methyl groups are 2 into 3, 6, and there are 6 hyperconjugate resonance forms. And if you take the CH2 plus ethyl carbonyl ion, this is the only alpha carbon carrying 3 hydrogens, so this is stabilized by 3 hyperconjugate resonance forms. This is stabilized by non-zero. The greater the number of resonance forms, the greater the stability. Now you can select the priority here, which is the highest stable and which is the least stable. 5 is the least stable. 5 is the least stable. Increasing order of stability. Increasing order of stability. You can easily guess now. 5 is the least stable. Next 3. 5 is less than 4. Next you have to write 6 less than 3. Next you have to write 8 less than 1. Next you have to write 9 less than 2. This is the correct order of increasing stability of carbocations. Where is it present now? Just you can see, my students, this is the correct selection. So D bit is the correct bit in this actual bit. Out of all these carbocations, if you take increasing order, 5 less than 4, less than 3, less than 1, less than 2. The highest stability is for second one, tertiary carbonyl ion. This is the way you have to answer the bit. Next one. Now, next bit, sixth one. Which of the following is electrophile in nature? Electrophile means electron seeking reagent. That means it wants to get the more electron density. So, phile means loving, electrophile means electron loving. That means when it is lacking electron, there should be less electron density at this agent. So, electron seeking reagent means that reagent which is having low electron density at the center of the ion, at the center of the molecule. And here there should be electron deficiency. In general, all the cations can be treated as electrophiles. So here nitrogen ion NO2 plus is electrophile. Cl plus chlorine ion is electrophile. These are general electrophiles. In chlorination of benzene, Cl plus is electrophile. In nitration of benzene, NO2 plus is electrophile. And here if you take BH3, the BH3 boron third group it belongs to, so it will be making 3 bonds with 3 hydrogens. This is the borane. Totally it is having 6 electrons in the valence shell. The valence shell will be containing only 6 electrons. This contains only 6 electrons. Still it is having 2 electrons less to the octet. That means it wants to receive the electrons whenever it is donated by a nucleophile. So as the central atom of the borane molecule here is containing 2 electrons less to the octet, it is electron seeking reagent. It is having electron less density at the center, and so it is also electrophile. BH3 is also electrophile, neutral molecule. And this is electrophile, this is also electrophile. Then only one remains there, that is H3O plus. You know pretty well H2O. This is H2O. Still oxygen is having 2 electron pairs, lone pairs, that is what you call. This is H2O. And as H2O is having 2 lone pairs in the outermost orbit central atom, it is electron pair donor. It can be treated as a Lewis base. It is a nucleophile. When 1 H plus is added to it, 1 H plus is added to it, 1 H plus is added to it, then this lone pair will be taken by H plus is shared by H, and so as a whole this gets positive charge. This is what you call hydrogen ion. Everybody thinks that is as it is carrying plus charge, it is electrophile, but it is not the case. In the case of hydrogen ion, the central atom, namely oxygen, is having a lone pair still, it is having a lone pair. Still it cannot donate that lone pair if necessary. And that is why, as the central atom in the hydrogen ion, namely oxygen, is still carrying 2 electrons, lone pair, it is electron pair donor, it is not electron seeking reagent, and that is why it is not at all electrophile in nature. So what is the correct answer here? H3O plus is the correct answer for this bit. Okay, right? Understand? Next one, 7th bit. For iodide ion, chloride ion, bromide ion, the increasing order of nucleophilicity would be, nucleophilic character will be increasing. All the anions can be treated as nucleophiles. That is the first bit. Cl minus, Br minus, I minus, all these are halide ions. All the halide ions are better nucleophiles also. We will be having nuclear substitution in the case of alkyl halides. So here, in all these halide ions, which is the strong nucleophile, all the nucleophiles can be treated as Lewis bases. All the anions can be treated as Lewis bases. That means these are electron pair donor. Electron pair may be in the form of lone pair or in the form of charge, minus charge. Either way it can be present. So that is why all the anions will be electron pair donors. The one which donates the lone pair easily, it is a strong nucleophile. That which donates electron pair or charge easily, that is strong nucleophile. This is the basis for this answer. And in this case, if you consider chloride, bromide, iodide, chloride, bromide, and you can take here iodide. This is Cl minus, this is Br minus, this is I minus. From Cl, Br, I, the size is increased. As the size is increased, the electron density of the outermost orbit will be far away from the nucleus. So, this electron cloud is not in the control of nucleus. So, as it is far away from the nucleus, this electron pair that is present in the form of minus charge will be easily donated by I. So, the greater the charge, the greater the size of the ion, the greater the easiness with which the electron cloud is donated, or charge will be donated for the bond formation for the electrophile. And so here in this case, the nucleophilic activity will be increasing from top to bottom. Nucleophilic activity will be increasing. This is increasing. From top to bottom. That is why you have to write the increasing order. What is the increasing order here? Cl minus is less than Br minus is less than I minus. Where is it? Cl minus is less than Br minus is less than I minus. So this is the correct answer. This is the correct order, increasing order. I minus is the strong nucleophile. Cl minus is the weak nucleophile out of these three. And so this is the correct increasing order. So bit B is correct in this case. Out of all these 4 bits, bit B is correct because increasing order actually is Cl minus, Br minus, I minus. Okay. Eighth one. How many chain isomers could be obtained from alkane C6H14 hexane? Here C4, C5, C6, C7. For these, if you want to get the number of isomers, you can apply the formula. What is the formula? Trick rather better. 2 to the power n minus 4 plus 1. Well, only the number of carbons. Here hexane is having 6 carbons, so this is equal to 2 to the power 6 minus 4 plus 1. This is equal to 2 square plus 1. This is equal to 5. So number of chain isomers in the case of hexane is equal to 5. Where is 5 here? C. This is the correct answer. It is better to remember the number of chain isomers. Number of chain isomers for C4, C5, C6, C7. This is having 2, this is having 3, this is having 5, this is having 9. Similarly, you can take even C8, C9, C10. This is having 18, this is having 35, this is having 75. It is better to remember these numbers of chain isomers. And of course, up to C4, C5, C6, C7, if you take here, for this you can apply the trick 2 to the power n minus 4, where n is the number of carbons. Basing on that, you can calculate here 5, that is the answer. Or you can remember this chart for number of carbons is equal to there are 5 chain isomers. Okay, 8th bit. And 9th one. Which among the given molecules can exhibit tautomerism? Tautomerism. This is a special case. Tautomerism is a special case. Here, tautomerism can be obtained when C double bond O, this is the carbon, that should be having hydrogen. Carbonyl group carrying alpha carbon, having hydrogen here. Then this tautomerism, this is the keto form. Keto form participates in the tautomerism. This alpha hydrogen will be participating in isomerism like this. And so what? There remains C double bond C, H here, O minus this become that O, H plus will be attached here. Whenever OH group is attached to double bond carbon, it is called enolic form. So this is what you call enolic form. And this is the keto form. Keto enol tautomerism. Tautomerism indicated by this symbol. Keto enol tautomerism is very famous in the organic chemistry. So here the carbonyl group should be having alpha carbon carrying hydrogen, then only enolic form is possible. Even nitro group carrying alpha carbon and hydrogen, that is also possible in the nitro hydrocarbons also. And here in this case, one point you have to stress is, these are nothing but the bicyclic compounds. In the bicyclic compounds, the carbons are joining the links are called bridge carbons. These are what you call bridge carbons. You have to note the point that hydrogens on bridge carbons do not participate in tautomerism. This is the condition you have to apply. hydrogens on the bridge carbons do not participate in the tautomerism. And so these carbons will not participate in the tautomerism. And basing on that, if you analyze here, this is the keto group, this is the alpha carbon, this is the alpha carbon that cannot participate in the tautomerism. So tautomerism is not possible in the case of 1. This is not possible. In this case, this is the carbonyl group, this is the bridge carbon, do not participate in the tautomerism. And this is the carbon, there is no hydrogen. It is the 2 hydrogens replaced by phenyl groups. And so this carbon is not having any hydrogen. And so there is no possibility for getting the tautomerism in this case also. But if you take here this structure, this is the alpha carbon. That alpha carbon is having 2 hydrogens that can participate in this. This carbon cannot participate. And so as this alpha carbon is having hydrogens, this can participate here. And 1 and 2 never participate. So what is the answer here? 3 only. This is the correct answer. DBT is the correct answer for this. Even you can write here the tautomers for the third one. Tautomers for the third one. You can take here, this is the bicyclic compound, and this is the double bond O. This is having 2 hydrogens, out of 1 hydrogen is considered here, and this bond will be shifted like this. This will be going towards O, and so here this H plus will be transferred to O, and it will be written as OH double bond. This is the enolic form, and this is the keto form. Both will be in tautomers. This is the tautomer condition symbol. And so ketone tautomerism or tautomerism is exhibited by only structure 3, and so bit D is correct, the remaining 3 bits are wrong. So this is the way you have to get the answers quickly after the analysis. Prior to that, you have to make a practice about these bits, then only you can get the answers quickly in the examination. So try to go through these bits once, you will get the idea and you can remember those bits well. And in the next class, we will take some more bits and we will give the explanation for those bits also. Thank you for your kind hearing. Thank you very much.